points of the island. Went through Nassau, but spent most of our time in Abaco. But as a function.
Let's go.
Drivers, to your cars. cars.
Welcome, race fans, to the Coors 200 for the Busch Bonanza Series from Pikes Peak International Raceway. This is the penultimate round of the 2023 NORL Busch Bonanza Championship, and there are two drivers in with a chance to still win this championship. Diggs in the 40 and Davis in the 78 with 168 points between Diggs and Davis. Davis needs to make points today, or the championship could be over before we reach Homestead next week. The grid for today: on the pole, Joe Mersdorf, starting alongside him, Mike Carroll. Second row, John Cheeseman, Jackson Vatcher. Third row, Molitor Hill and Tommy Davis. Fourth row, Gino Sphere, Scott Drake. On the fifth row, Kevin Corbett and Jim Fitzmaurice. On the sixth row, Gene Stapleton and Hawkins. Seventh row, Stephen Davis, Ben White. Eighth row, Doug Spark and Larry Sheldrick. On the ninth row, Reno Jackson and Joe Polson. 10th row, Stephen Lowe and Tony Tonto. 11th row, the points leader, Mullimer Diggs and Dave Daniels. On the 12th row, Tom Barber and Jared Mogard. On the 13th row, Frank Womack and Broderick Whitman. On the 14th row, we have Bev Fresh and Adam Beresford. 15th row, Yuri Rodriguez and Bobby Farrell. On the 16th row, Baron McComas and Brian Phillips. 17th row, Ryan Pedersen and Nate Moorhead. 18th row shows us Jack Painter and Tony Gunk. 19th row, we have, I think I've counted rows wrong because this doesn't seem like the right, that should be the 18th row. I don't know where I count wrong, but then we've got Dwight York and JT Armstrong. On what is actually definitely the 19th row is Ron Stout and Ronaldo Scott. And on the... No, I was counting right. Because there's 42 cars, not 40. I can't count. I'm an idiot. So 20th row, yeah, whatever. At the back on the 21st row, because I can definitely count, Jared Shadle and Rod Weston. It'll be 200 laps around the Pikes Peak International Raceway. It's a 1 mile D-shaped oval, kind of like Richmond, only a little bit bigger. We got the whole field in a shot here. We expect the command here in about a minute. Other interesting things of note in the points: close battle for the 5th spot. Mike Carroll has slipped behind Painter by 9 points. Tight battle between Weston, Tonto, Stout, Daniels, and Beresford. Heck, even York and Whitman. Not a lot of points in between those spots. Joe Polson has 120 points of buffer into the top 20, with Tony Gunk and Kevin Corbett trying to get up there. I think those are the most exciting things we've got to offer. Like I said, only Diggs and Tommy Davis can even win this championship anymore. Mersdorf, Sphere, Painter, they've been eliminated now for a little while, as has everybody else. Diggs comes into this race with 3 wins. Davis with 6 on the season. Mersdorf with 1. Sphere has 5 wins, looking to maybe pick up a win today and equal Davis on the season. Davis holding the most wins for now, and could still theoretically lose it. If Sphere wins the next 2 weeks, he would have the most on the season, but nobody else in this championship has a chance to get on terms with the two of them. Well, I guess some people could get on terms with Sphere. Nobody could get on terms with with Davis for wins on the season. Painter, Carroll have won a race this season. Rod Weston with 3 wins. Ben White picked up a win early in the year, as did Jackson Vatcher. Jared Mogard, 3 wins, only 18th in points. Joe Polson has 2 wins. Kevin Corbett picked up a win earlier this season. JT Armstrong's got a pair. Bobby Farrell picked up 1. Reno Jackson with a win. And furthest down in points, Bev Fresh picked up a win earlier this season. Still only 41st in points, having only made 18 shows all season.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there is the command to start engines. the field will roll away from their starting positions. Not a great qualifying effort for the 40 team today, but just needs a decent finish to try to hold on to that points lead, whereas 78 needs to do everything he can to make some points here and try to close that gap. Pace car is in. And we are racing from Pikes Peak. Mersdorf leads them off into turn one. Oh, that's some cool pop-in action. Hadn't noticed that from other camera angles. They start getting a little dicey behind. Cars trying to make up spots. And lap one is completed cleanly. I went to the spectator cameras, I thought it was going to TV1. Yep, definitely spectator cameras. These are good cameras, so you get the whole field in these shots. So you see Vatcher and Hill working on the 444. And now Kevin coming by Drake. Scott's going to lose a place here, and the 46 is going to come forward. The qualifying event yesterday was won by Kevin with a last lap pass on Scott Drake in the 50-lap qualifying event. So the two of them do have decent long-run cars, at least if yesterday is anything to go on. It's Mike Carroll stalking Mersdorf here for the lead. We got the Statler brothers versus Spam, a battle for the ages, or something. Mike's right there, but not getting enough into the brake zone to try to make a move. Closing in a little bit more, though. Now Cheeseman closing in on the back of this battle. I think Mersdorf might be holding him up. Cheeseman's going to make a move here on Carroll into turn one. Move that 55 up a spot. Is he going to make a move on Mersdorf here into three? Not quite close enough for that. Still fighting Mike here. Bring some breathing room for Mersdorf, and the 73 in the pits, unscheduled stop for Shadle. He's been in the pits for a couple of laps. Let's see. Coor reports fueling system issues. See, don't you love having that stuff on so I can just look and see what the AI says is wrong with the car? Don't you think Tony should try that too? Really fighting here for the second spot. Cheeseman cannot clear him. Tommy Davis not queuing up. Did the sim really just crash? I literally ran multiple test races and only got crashing issues with full pace lap. Let's hope it doesn't do that again. Well, if it starts doing that a lot, this could get really interesting. Fortunately, I saved the qualifying results today. Unfortunately, it means we have to watch the start of the race again. Literally ran a 50-lap race yesterday and it didn't crash, so don't know why that's happening. Okay, well, the race didn't really start. Yes, it was on illusion. Definitely. Alright, and the green flag's out. I'm going to sound really frustrated now, but, you know, here we are. Good news for the Jared Shadle fans, he's not screwed. Good getaway that time for Carroll and Mersdorf, pulling away from the field. It was double file behind him trying to sort themselves out. I think literally if we get to halfway, I'm going to save and export just in case it crashes again. And if it crashes after halfway, I'm going with those results because I'm not going to spend all day trying to get a race to run if it's going to be stupid. Heck, if it crashes before halfway, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might pull an audible and switch tracks at the last second to another 1 mile track that I know at least works. At least I have the roster set already. I'll run 200 laps somewhere else. Yeah, Milwaukee, no. I'm trying to think if it keeps doing this, what track I might sub in. I might try for another version of this track if I can find one. If I can't find one, then what's a 1 mile track? I'm not going to do Dover. We didn't race New Hampshire, did we? We could do New Hampshire if we have to. Or even try to find a halfway decent Phoenix, because this was supposed to be a Phoenix race. But I thought we'd go somewhere more interesting. We're seeing some stuff similar to the last attempt to actually run this race, where Carroll is all over Mersdorf. Doug Sparks worked his way into the top 10, and we have a car in the pits. The 66 in the pits with a flat tire. That car has resumed, but is now 1 lap down. Another thing I could do is I could just mash through the scoring every lap, so if it crashes I can just pull scoring from the replay like that by going back onto the timeline in YouTube. But if it's going to crash before halfway, it doesn't matter. So Carroll's all over Mersdorf now, trying to figure out a way around him. Gaggle behind him, trying to get sorted out. Carroll's still all over him here, but hasn't been able to find a way to make a move. Maybe just sort of letting him set the pace and riding behind. Sometimes that strategy works out. Looks like Davis maybe taking a look here on Vatcher into turn one. Pushes him up the track. Let's go look at this battle for a second, because it's still going. Second, this start. Battle for third still. Davis cannot seem to finish this pass on Vatcher. So he finally gets around Vatcher. Now Cheeseman and Sphere are going to try to follow through. Still no move at the front from Mike. He's just going to ride. We'll see if Davis starts closing in now that he's got the clean air, so to speak, having finished his pass on Vatcher. Was 1 2/3 the last time around. Let's see where it is this time by. Gap is closing, but not rapidly. So they go 3 wide behind. Vatcher just holding on there on the outside. Cheeseman has to let out of it. And now Sphere might get a 2-for here. Gino's going to get 2 for 1 on that lap. As Davis loses time that lap, so these lead 2 are a little bit faster than he is. Cheeseman seems to be fading back now. He's now going to back up to Stephen Davis and Kevin Corbett. Scott Drake's going to be right with this gaggle here pretty quickly. Cheeseman's starting to equalize now. Whoops, that was a microphone. Anybody on headphones? I apologize. I just killed you. And Kevin going to the inside of Stephen Davis. Can't get his nose in there. And there's the 1/8 distance mark. And we have a caution on the speedway. First caution of the day, Broderick Whitman in the fence. And it doesn't look like that was all by himself. Let's see, coming down to the end of the back stretch, going to the inside of Mogard. Oh, Paulson's just going to get into him. Oh, he's going to go hard into the fence. Both cars come up off the ground. Heavy damage. That's likely going to be day over for at least one of those cars. As the field comes around to take the yellow. Pace car on the backstretch, and the lead four are actually going to probably get an advantage here coming in. Let's see, is the rest of the field going to catch up before we hit the pit speed line? Not really, so there is going to be an advantage here to some of these guys. Not a huge one. And it looks like the whole field will be coming in. This might be an opportunity for the field to get a little mixed up, as the 27 had been in the pits a little early, already coming out. 66 is staying on the track. He had already pitted and had lost a lap under green. 68 done for the day. Slow stop for the 54. He is going to lose the lead and maybe even go back to third here. Did he even lose a spot to Vatcher here? Are you kidding me? Okay, so something bad clearly happens when cars exit the pits at this track. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix it. Because this didn't happen in any of my testing. But, okay, we're going to see if there's another version of Pikes Peak, and if there's not, we're just going to run whatever 1 mile oval I can find. Well, we could always just go with the Pikes Peak Project Wildfire track. It won't look pretty, but it should run alright. At least we have a roster already. I'm gonna knock 25 laps off the race though, so. Sorry, not sorry. Where did that extract? There it is. Shame I can't carry over the qualifying results, but you know, we'll make it work. Okay. And it doesn't work. I'm just going to run stock Phoenix, because, like, we're not playing this game. God damn, this is an ugly looking track, but, you know.
Drivers, cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Okay, here we are at a shittier Pikes Peak. Hopefully the game doesn't continue to crash. I've done a full pace lap because it seemed like the other one, the issue was leaving the pits, so if that issue exists in this one too, it will happen right here, and we'll know that we're not racing Pikes Peak, apparently. Yeah, like, this one has a pit road that isn't actually correct. It's curved. Swords. And it shouldn't be curved, but who cares? Okay, so a restart after that caution is what we're going to say this is. Yeah, weird restarts is what we're going to go with. Pace cars in. Good news is it puts Broderick Whitman back in the race, so the Whitman fans get to rejoice, and we're green. The grandstand's too far away from the track in this version, too. Oh well. Sear going for the lead. It's three wide battling back here. As Mersdorf has taken the lead back and is trying to stretch away. Ooh, almost some contact there between Kevin and Tommy. They got away with it. I suppose we can look and see what the standings are further up the field, huh? I think I'm just going to say it. Unless I decide to do a custom Pikes Peak 2024, I don't think this track will be on the schedule next season, but I could actually see myself putting the time in to tweak this version of the track to be semi-accurate and make myself happy with it, so I don't know. The racing's good, then we'll consider it. The racing's bad, then, you know, we don't come back. It's sort of been the rule for this series. Carroll working on Tonto here. Gaggle back there in the field, huh? Back here where they're like getting three wide fairly consistently. Diggs not having a good race here. This could help open up the championship. Starting to string out now. Yeah. Sim crashing has been bad news for Doug Spark, who was running in the top 10 in the second attempt to run the race, and now is way back. Mersdorf trying to stretch it out here. And here comes Carroll looking for the lead. Gets the car to the inside, but can't make it stick. Mersdorf with a better run off. Carroll can try to send it here into one, though. Tries. Mersdorf trying to hang on the outside. And Mersdorf will clear him. It's bringing the rest of the field back up to him now. Carroll pops out again. Doesn't have a look, though. Well, he's right there on him now. He might try to push him out of the groove, although it's a little early in the show to do that. Takes another peek down the front stretch. Going up those mirrors, he goes for it. Still fighting. Neck and neck across the line there. Is he going to clear him this lap? Trying desperately. And he's clear. Mike Carroll's going to take the lead. Brought this group of 5 cars right under a blanket, though. Let's see if Mike can try to get away. getting away, but the two of them are pulling away from the rest of these top 5 again. What'll technically be quarter distance in tonight's show, because technical difficulties suck. These two are now stretching away from the rest of the top 5, trying to work on a gap. It's only a matter of time before they fight each other again. So gaps continue to grow at the front of the field now. These two are really trying to check out. And we have a caution on the speedway. The 40 is involved in the wreck. Sitting, stationary, smoke pouring out of the machine. What has happened to our points leader? It's been an engine failure. The 40 has blown a motor. And probably gotten collected here as he tries to get to pit road. Cuts across the front of Shadle. That was just dumb. And that will be the day for our points leader. Caution on the speedway now. Didn't seem to take anybody with him, but yellow flag out on lap 42. And everyone's going to come in. If the sim crashes here, I am going to scream. Carroll came in the leader. We'll see if he comes out still leading. I don't know that Mike Carroll's going to be the leader here. I did get a running order. I don't think he beat Mersdorf. Nope, they're waving Mersdorf past him. So Joe Mersdorf will take over the lead as I apparently smacked the microphone again. This is not going to be a good points day for the 40 team. But this will make the finale next week at Homestead really interesting. And they still haven't actually gotten the field in the right order. Stop doing that. lights out on the pace car. We're going to line them up and go green here. One retirement thus far, and it's been our points leader, Mullimer Diggs, out of the race. He's going to give up a lot of points, but will probably still be the points leader. What was his gap again? Trying to get to it. Looking in all the wrong places. Gap was 168 points. So depending on where the 78 ends up, it could be very tight going into Homestead, which is just what the TV promoters would like to see. Pace car comes in. Mersdorf's going to lead him to the green. Green, green, green. And Mike Carroll jumps to the inside immediately on the start. Side by side for the lead into turn one. Ooh, and he cuts him off. Sphere trying to mix it up in this battle at the front. Proving to be a nuisance. I don't know if he's much else at the moment. Ooh, there he goes. He sticks to the inside of Mike. So Mike now trying to settle in and get back up to Mersdorf, having fought off Sphere for the moment. 20 some odd laps, I'm saving an export just in case it does fucking crash, because then we will run 100 laps. Mersdorf starting to stretch away here. Where is Tommy Davis running now? He's not. He's running 35th. He's not going to capitalize on his opportunity here to make points if he's running 35th. Like, this is an opportunity. The leader's out of the race, and you're only going to make like 20 points on running back there. Interesting development. Let's see if he can try to pick his way forward here. Because he absolutely has to. Just not getting anywhere back here. I don't know that he can count on a ton of attrition to help him. If he was up in the top 10, this would be, you know, a huge points day for him, but running all the way back here ain't gonna help. He's gonna get around Nate, though. Ooh, contact between Beresford and McComas. That could have been a big crash. And Bogart's back here. And Polson. It does really kind of seem like he's faster than everybody he's around. He's just struggling to make these passes happen in a quick order. It's around Mogard. Sets his sights now on Polson and McComas, who are side by side ahead of him. Goes the inside of McComas off into turn one. Still trying here on 3 and 4, but did not get the job done. Just wasn't enough there for him. Tries to take a look there, still nothing. here fighting for 32nd when his championship rival is out of the race in 42nd. Needs to make some spots here, needs to get some more points. This is an opportunity he is unlikely to get again to try to make up a large chunk of points on the leader to make it a fight at Homestead, but he's squandering the chance right now at Pikes Peak. Trying to get around Baron McComas. I think he might have him here. Still fighting. Finally gets the pass made. Alright, Tommy, go for the next one. Gaggle the cars ahead of him. Still just the one retirement from this race. Mersdorf continues to lead. It's not close at the front of the field, which is why we're watching this action. That is very important for the championship. He's now gotten around Rodriguez, going for Farrell now. Put him up to 30th. On Paulson here in 3 and 4. Looks like he's got Paulson. Next victim will be York. Just to turn it down the track, it's a little out of shape. Gives a little nudge to York as York tries to slam the door. But he's continuing to march forward. Probably need a caution at some point though if he wants to get all the way up on terms, but could stand to have the green flag run here to let the field spread out so he can start picking cars off. He's going to look at Doug Spark here into turn 3. And he passes Doug Spark, marching forward. Whatever adjustments they made on the pit stop certainly helped. Started watching him, he's back there where the 10 car is. Look at how far away he's gotten from the 10. I'm gonna save an export real quick, just in case. Just in case. I think we're actually going to have a problem here, but I want it just in case. He makes a move on Gene Stapleton now. This will be for 27th. Correction, 26th. He's going to shove it on in there on Ben White. Very heads-up driving from White not to cause an accident there, because Tommy wasn't going to give him any other option but to give him the room there. But now Ben gets clear. Front of the pack, Mersdorf continues to lead. Carroll about a second back. Then we have Sphere, Armstrong, Daniels, Gunk, Corbett, Tonto, Stephen Lowe, and Stephen Davis, the top 10. So we continue to watch this mid-pack action that is, like I said, got major points implications. Going to the inside of Ben White here. He's going to dive to the inside of Beresford. Is he going to be able to get to Phillips? No. Phillips looks like he's backing up here. Beresford's going to get to the outside of Phillips. That 119 car does not look happy right now. Detrimental to 78 getting through the field, though, if he's stuck behind these two having such a battle. He needs to find a way through this quickly. Beresford's going to get clear on the high side, and Davis is going to try the same move. Is this 119 struggling enough that this will work? Now it dragged him down the front stretch. This might work. He's just cleared him off the corner. The 119 fading back. Davis now looking to the back of Beresford. And he gets Beresford. Now he's got Hawkins, whoops, and Fitzmaurice to contend with. We're fighting side by side. Knocking on the door of the top 20 now. Drake got shuffled there a little bit. I don't know that his shuffling is done. Whoop. Still no change at the front of the field. Running order currently: Mersdorf, Carroll, Sphere, Armstrong, Daniels, Gunk, Corbett, Stephen Lowe, Tony Tonto, and Jackson Vatcher are now the top 10, as we're just coming up on 90 laps in. Try the outside on Scott Drake here. Worked on the 119. I don't know if it's going to work on Scott. Maybe it will. And a caution on the speedway. What has brought out this yellow? Dwight York has come to the pit lane. Has he been involved in an incident? Bet he has. Yep, Dwight York has ground to a halt. That car has failed. So, caution out for a mechanical fault on a car. Everybody's going to come around and catch the pace car. And we will reset the field once again. Ronaldo Scott looks to have lost a lap. Yep. Ronaldo Scott went one lap down in that sequence. Looks like just about everybody's coming in here. I think it is actually everybody coming in. I don't see anybody but the lap car staying out here. Mersdorf will win the race off of pit road. Tommy Davis will pick up a few spots here. He was 21st. Alright, we'll get you an updated running order here. Mersdorf leads over Carroll, then Sphere, Armstrong, Daniels, Gunk, Stephen Lowe, Tony Tonto, Kevin Corbett, then we have Jackson Vetcher, Rod Weston, Bev Fresh, Stephen Davis, John Cheeseman, Ron Stout, Jack Painter, Roderick Whitman, Tommy Davis up to 18th now. Frank Womack has a problem. I think he's coming back into the pits here. Yes, Womack coming back into the pits. As does Daniels. This might be strategy call. Yeah, we have a handful of them. I think that's a strategy call. And we're lining up for the restart. The 58 is actually back on the track. They got that car going again. So he is not out of the race, but he has lost a couple of laps. 3 laps, in fact. Lights out on the pace car. Guys that just pitted are going to be at the back of the field. Are they thinking we're right on the edge of making it from here? Is that what's going on here? Or were there issues with lug nuts on those cars? Pace car is in. Green, green, green. Lap cars putting up as much of a fight as they can. And Gino Sphere coming to the pits. We have a report of a problem on that car. No report of a problem. They just seem to think this is a strategy call. I don't think they're right. Alright, Mike and Mersdorf clear the lap cars. Not much anybody else has. Daniels in the pits again. Something definitely going wrong with that car. Sphere's still sitting there, so maybe there is an issue. Mike Carroll's going to take a peek, but has nothing to say yet. Let's track the progress of the 78 now. 78 making some progress, passing Broderick Whitman. Laps are winding down though. Still got enough to try to do something. He's going to cut to the inside of Ron Stout. Oh, and Ron was trying to cut to the inside of Bev. They nearly all came together there. Weston way up the track here. 3 wide across the stripe. Painter gets on the apron but keeps it going. Tommy Davis now looking right at a top 10 in front of him now. Good recovery thus far. And Mike Carroll's going for the lead up there. So we gotta go look at that. Carroll gets low, but can't get the run off. Mersdorf will continue to lead. Stephen Davis and Cheeseman fighting. That's going to bring Tommy Davis alongside Stephen Davis. Maybe? No? We'll see. Stephen Davis perseveres on the high side. Tommy Davis has a look at John Cheeseman now. He's going to stay in there. Nope, couldn't make that move stick just yet. He's going to try to take another look here at turn 1. Gives him a lot of pressure. Gets door to door here off of 2. As Carroll is again fighting for the lead. I think Mike might have it this time. Mike Carroll takes the lead at the stripe. Nobody else has been able to clear the lap cars as Mike Carroll's going to settle into the lead. Stephen Davis trying to get around JT now. Clear JT. JT lost a ton of momentum there. Cheeseman clears him. Here comes Tommy on him. That's going to move Tommy Davis into the top 10 here at the stripe. So he was in the 30s before, and we've watched him march up into the top 10. This is how he's going to, this is what he's got to do to capitalize on this day for points. Cheeseman looking at Stephen Davis here. Get him? Tommy Davis did. So he's going to try the high side on the 55. Seen a couple of passes made up there already. Let's see if he can get one here. Some momentum down the straightaway. Can he carry it through the corner? Got it there. Let's see though. like that move's worked out. Still trying, though. Needs Cheeseman to struggle here on the bottom if he wants to pull this move off, and I think he just got him there. Cheeseman got a little squirrely coming off, had to lift. And Tommy cleared him. 3-second gap between the leaders and the rest of the field at the moment. I feel like Davis has a pretty good card here. Let's look at the lap leaders for the day. Tony Gunk so far is the fastest lap of the race. So the lap cars are really holding everybody back from getting up to the leaders. York's not horrendously slow, but he doesn't have the pace that he would need to not be in the way. Whatever was wrong with that car must have been a Control-Alt-Delete reset. The question is Tommy going to go around Steven as quick as he's going around some others, or are the two of them going to try to go catch Kevin first? The other question is, does Tommy have a chance to win this race at all? Not sure. He's 7 seconds back from the lead at the moment. So we'll probably take another caution, but I think he'd like to get more track position before that caution will come out. Three wide up there ahead. They closed on the leader there, didn't they? So these two are running faster than the leader. He's going to go to the inside of Steven Davis. Steven has to adjust his line there, but I don't think Tommy's going to get the run he needs here to clear him. Gave up big time to the leader there. Let's let Cheeseman come back to him as well. He's going to peek out again here and try it again into turn one, I suspect. Does. Just not a lot in it. And Steven really wanted to turn in there and found out that he was there right at the turning point. We cleared him here. He's got this pass done. Now he needs to eyes forward and go get the group ahead. Big gap to the leaders now. Tommy has gotten away from the group he was with and is catching Tonto and Kevin now. We're struggling to get around Ronaldo Scott, who is a lap down. Stephen Lowe has finally gotten around Dwight. But Tony Gunk and Thatcher have failed to do so. Kevin trying to make a move here on Scott. Gotta get around this 85. He's much slower, but they just can't find the move yet. Is Kevin gonna clear Ronaldo here? No, hasn't cleared him. Working hard to do it. Tony Gunk finally gets around Dwight York. Kevin will probably clear Ronaldo here if he can. No? Come on, Kevin. You gotta make that car work. You can't let this lap car check you up this long. Brought John Cheeseman and Stephen Davis to the back of this group. And 3 wide we're gonna go. Tommy trying to get a 2-for-1 special here. Get them both in one lap. Up to 6th. He now needs to go up there and pass Ronaldo quickly though before this gaggle of angry cars causes him a problem. Stephen Davis just went by both of them back there. And John Cheeseman's going to try to do the same. Let's see how the front of the pack looks. They have caught the back of the field. So Mike's going to have to do some work now. Inside 50 to go.
Member joined.
Carroll's starting to pick his way through the back of the field. And Mersdorf just got balked by Tom Barber.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Tony. Welcome to the Bonanza race that was delayed by the game crashing twice because apparently that one Pikes Peak that I did all that testing on has a tendency to crash when cars exit the pits.
Who's leading?
Mike Carroll, and he's going 3 wide with the lap cars. We're inside the final 50 to go. And there are big points picture things happening.
Like what?
Like the points leader finishing 42nd.
Oh.
There were only 2 cars mathematically in it. And at one point, the only other car in it was running in the mid-30s, but now he's running P6.
Oh.
I think we're gonna have a good championship at Homestead next week.
Oh yeah. Who's 42nd and who's 6th?
Who do you think?
Molmar is 42nd and
Correct.
Tommy Two Fingers is 6th.
Correct. And Mike Carroll and Joe Mersdorf have been the class of the field today.
Who's in 3rd?
Stephen Lowe.
Who's 27th?
27th is Nate Moorhead.
Who's 19th?
19th is Hawkins.
It's a good run for Nosmo. Who's 40th?
40th would be Dave Daniels.
Did he blow up or crash?
He's running, but he did a green flag pit stop. So did Gino Sphere, and I still don't know why.
So you're saying this is a low attrition race?
There is 1 car out of the race. There have been 2 cautions, both for cars stopping on track. As Yuri Rodriguez goes down a lap.
Who was the first guy to stop on track?
Diggs.
Where did he stop?
Well, he started blowing up off of 2, tried to pit, ran into somebody, and got spun and stopped in the middle of 3 and 4.
What about the second guy?
Dwight York ground to a halt in the middle of the backstretch, got towed and got the car going again, but lost, I believe, 3 laps. Yes, 3 laps to that. So he is now hoping for further attrition, otherwise his day is kind of shot.
Who is 2nd?
Joe Mersdorf. By just under a second. Traffic has been playing Mike's way ever since he caught them. Mersdorf led most of the first half of the race, but Mike took over the lead shortly after the last caution. But traffic is starting to play a factor because they keep catching groups of cars back here now. And Tommy Davis up to P5.
Did you clinch the fantasy racing?
I haven't done the points tabulations to figure out if I have or not. I don't think I have, because with the NASCAR races still being a thing, that's a lot of points you can lose. So there's still a lot of points, I think, in play, and I don't think I have a massive lead.
Right. You could lose like 200 points a week if under the worst circumstances.
Yeah, and I think last I looked, I was only leading by like 40, so. Mike's just caught Reno and Frank side by side ahead of him. That's not going to help him. Is he going to put him 3 wide? Oh, he is! I think there was a little bit of contact there. This is good racing. It's just a shame that I'm having to use the shit-ass Project Wildfire track, but with such good racing, I might do a 2024 version of this track next season. Just take this one and improve it, because the racing's actually pretty good. Could it be a little bit better? Yes, but if I can't make it any better, will I be upset? No. Certainly a better race than Milwaukee was last season.
Are they running the low line in 1 and 2 or the middle groove?
So some guys are making passes on the high side, some are making them on the bottom. It kind of depends on whether you can make the outside work or not.
In real life, I know they couldn't. There was no grip on the bottom in that corner at that time.
I don't think the IndyCar had that issue, but ooh, look at this. Mike making moves on the outside. Just got 3 of them in 1 lap. Trying to put lap cars between he and Mersdorf so that he has a bit of a cushion as we're quickly approaching 25 to go. Oh, now he's got a pair of them side by side in front of him. Doesn't know which way to go. Davis is up to 4th now. He's going to try to make as much hay as he can here. He was, what was he, 160 some odd points out? I have to look again. At the points up here. He was 168 points out coming into this race. So I don't think he can take the points lead. Because, what, last place is worth like, what, 30 points or something? I forget what 42nd place points are going to be worth. If they're worth more than, 20
30, 37.
Yeah, then he can't take the points lead even if he wins. Because that would be 123 points that if he won that he would gain, right? Well, if he won and led the most laps, which he can't do now. So he can only gain, like, 150 something, I think is all he can gain. He's also 15 seconds behind the leader, so I don't know he's going to win this race without a caution. And some shenanigans. Like when we find out that Dave Daniels' green flag pit stop was actually the strategy move that wins this race, but I don't think it will be, because he lost another lap to the leader naturally.
Where's Tony Tonto?
P9, just ahead of Kevin. So where's Extravaganza this week? Is it Phoenix?
Yeah.
What version of Phoenix are you running?
Stock.
Really?
It's the best one.
That was going to be my failsafe if the PWF Pikes Peak kept crashing. I was just going to take this roster and go to stock Phoenix and just say, okay, fuck it. But Project Wildfire track seems to be fine. It just isn't as pretty as it needs to be. In the grandstand, it's like a mile away from the front stretch for some reason. And the pit road's curved when it shouldn't be. These are all things that I could go into Sandbox and probably fix and redo the pit road and probably make this a much nicer track if I decide to run it next season, which I think I might, because I've been enjoying watching this race. Like, I don't think it would take a whole lot more of the AI to get them even racier and a little bit more fun, but even as they are, they're pretty good. As Mike Carroll puts Joe Polson a lap down. Gene Stapleton will be the next victim of Mike Carroll's reign of terror and spam. Mersdorf is struggling through traffic. And Tommy Davis up to 3rd.
Let's go.
He is 15 and a half seconds behind the lead, though.
Oh, no.
So I don't know that there's too much more for him to gain without a yellow, as we have 25 to go. And it's now 2 seconds between Mike and Mersdorf. Yeah, Tommy's not even gaining time. He lost a 10th that lap, so Mike's on a rail. But a 3rd place finish with your championship contender in the garage early is a good points day, and we'll keep the championship alive. Smash cut, we go to Homestead, they both wreck out on lap 1.
And hopefully there's no Schumacher shenanigans.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if Diggs wrecks him, he wins the championship. As long as he knocks him out of the race. I think Mike's gotten through some of the heaviest traffic too, so that's gonna help him here. We just caught a wad of traffic that includes Rod Weston, Jim Fitzmaurice, Larry Sheldrick, and Hawkins. Try to pick his way through these guys. Gonna stick him 3 wide off into turn 1. Hawkins is gonna lift. Or is he? He's gonna keep it 3 wide. No, he can't get any grip up there. $20 to go. 19 at the line, actually. Mersdorf just got into some clean air behind this group. Let's see if he can try to close up. That's probably why Mike's going to stick him 3 wide to get through this group. He's going to get 2 for 1 there. Mersdorf did gain half a second, but now he's got these 4 cars he's going to have to pass. And Mike's got clean air for a little while. He's got Adam Beresford and then a big gap ahead of Beresford. Now they're both in clean air and Mersdorf's losing time. Mersdorf hasn't even caught that gaggle of traffic either. I don't know if Mike will catch anybody once he passes Beresford. It's going to be 15 to go at the line. And he goes to the inside of Beresford here. Mersdorf's gotten around Weston, so there's going to be 4 cars between him once he clears Beresford here. And he passes Beresford. That puts 4 cars between first and second in about a 2 3/4 second gap. Make it 2.5 actually. Mike trying to close it out. Pick up his 2nd win of the season. Mersdorf trying to hunt him down and get his second win of the season, but it's looking unlikely. Laps to go for Mike Carroll. He's now got nearly a 3-second lead, one car between first and second. And I don't know that Mike's going to catch any of those cars ahead of him. Roger Whitman's moved into the top 10, passing Kevin Corbett. With the kind of luck he's had this season, I'm half expecting Mike to blow a motor here. Mike's gap holding at 3 seconds with a car in that gap. A lot of nails being chewed on the pit box of that 50, just hoping that nothing happens here. Because they really have this in hand. A couple more laps and the yellow will definitely end the race, so that'll be less of a concern as long as they're not in it. Joe Mersdorf's pitting with 5 laps to go. Do they really need a pit stop here? Are they right on the limit of fuel? And do tires matter? They're running a second and a half, almost 2 seconds slower than they were on fresh tires, but I can't imagine here if you're taking a splash at the end, you would take tires. A lot of cars I see coming into the pits. Uh-oh. And we're inside 5 to go, and we got guys pitting. Mersdorf coming out of the pits, going to be almost a full lap behind where he was. Are some guys just getting bad fuel economy? Or is everybody going to pit here in the last 5 laps? Mike Carroll pitting. It's going to be 3 to go as he crosses start-finish in the pits. Interesting. Very interesting. Genosphere pitted shortly after the green. He might actually still get a really good finish out of this. Depends on what traffic did to him. I just sort of wrote him out of the race. Right now, Tommy Davis has scored in second, but I don't know if he's going to have to pit or not. He's going by Mike Carroll. I think Tommy Davis is the leader now with 3 to go. Is he going to pit? He comes off of turn 4 under power, coming to 2 to go. Tommy will lead a lap, so that's at least 5 bonus points, even if he has to pit here. But it's 2 to go. If he's got another 1.5 miles of fuel in it, he could win this thing. He's going to try to make it. White flag for Tommy Davis. A lot of cars in the pits. The whole running order has been shaken up here. Coming through 3 and 4. He's got a 6-second lead on Cheeseman. He could coast from here. Tommy Davis, coming off of turn 4, is going to win at Pikes Peak on fuel mileage.
All right.
Where is John Cheeseman for second? Here comes John Cheeseman to take second place. Mike Carroll, I think, ends up third. Yes, Mike Carroll third. Fourth goes to Scott Drake. Fifth is going to go to Joe Mersdorf. Then Brian Phillips is going to come home sixth. Rod Weston is seventh in the pit road as the checkers came out. Then Stephen Lowe. Everybody else a lap down. Ninth went to Jackson Vetcher. Genosphere came back for 10th. Then Tony Gunk, Stephen Davis, Tony Tonto, Broderick Whitman, Bev Fresh, Ron Stout, Kevin Corbett, Nate Moorhead, Adam Beresford, Larry Sheldrick, Jim Fitzmaurice, Malsmo Hawkins, Molitor Hill, Gene Stapleton, Joe Polson, Baron McComas, Bobby Farrell, Ryan Pedersen, JT Armstrong, Frank Womack in 30th, Reno Jackson, Jared Mogard, Dave Daniels, Yari Rodriguez, Ben White, Doug Spark, Jared Shadle, Tom Barber, Ronaldo Scott, Jack Painter, where'd it go? Jack Painter, Dwight York, and out of the race was, of course, the 40 car of Mullimer Diggs.
Good run, Brian Phillips.
Wow. Did I not say, like, 10, 15 minutes ago there was no way Tommy was winning that race?
I don't think you said that, but
I said
you said something about something, yeah.
I said that I didn't think he could do it, and he just did it. Wow. That's the maximum points gain that he could have gotten at that point then. Like, oh boy. Let's see what the points are like now.
You quoted the great Bill Parcells, sir.
Bill Parcells, the great football coach?
Yeah, he said exactly what you said. We didn't think we could do it, but we did it, or something. I'll have to Google it later.
Alright, well, I'm about to upload the points, and we're going to find out what the difference is now. It was 168. I have a hunch it's going to be much closer than that. I don't think he could have gained enough points to have passed him, because we determined what we expect that the 40 got points-wise. But let's find out. Go into the file manager and upload these points imajigs. I really wish the UCO site would let me just upload the entire folder with the HTML files all at once, because that would really be nice. I might just try to figure out if there's somewhere else I can upload these where you can link to them that way. Because like
Might not be a bad idea.
If I could throw them like in a Google Drive, that would work just like it does on the website, that would be beneficial to us, because then I could bulk upload them every week.
And you can have all the, like, everything, not just the standings
Okay.
schedule.
Here we go. Point standings.
That'd be
Diggs
cool.
leads by 22 points with one race left.
Wow.
Mersdorf is third, 52 points out of Sphere, 249 behind Davis, so he cannot take second, but he could lose third. Mike Carroll is fifth. He can't catch Sphere. Jack Painter sixth, could theoretically catch Mike. Rod Weston seventh. Carroll did pass Painter. Weston, Tonto, Stout, Beresford picked up a spot. Whitman picks up 2. Dave Daniels lost 2. Dwight York lost a spot. Cheeseman passes Ben White. 16th and 17th are Stephen Davis and Jackson Vatcher. Stephen Lowe passes Jared Mogard to move into 18th. Mogard down to 19th. Joe Polson in 20th is 78 points ahead of Tony Gunk, who is 89 ahead of Kevin, so I don't think Kevin can get into the top 20 points unless Joe Polson's motor blows up on the grid and Kevin wins the race. I think that's the only way that could happen, right?
Right.
I'm doing the math. Hang on.
Let's go, Tony Gunk.
Kevin is 185 points behind Joe Polson. If Joe Polson blows up on the grid, and I think Kevin wins the race at Homestead and leads all of the laps, he would get into the top 20. Except Tony Gunk would probably still be ahead of him. Let's see, Scott Drake passed JT. Sheldrick and McComas picked up spots, so did Nate Moorhead. Troy Torgerson lost 4 because he didn't make the show. Phillips passes Inkman. Hawkins passes Reigns. Fitzmaurice and Fresh both pass Shadle. Frank Womack passes Stump and Van Buren. Barber and Scott both pass Isaac Groth. Ryan Pedersen passes Ann Merica. And those are all the worthwhile points changes to note. We will see you next week where we will crown a champion going in with a 22-point gap. Who knows what happens?